game, and he's been the one on the side of TS really putting up those big numbers.
But do we pick that first? Because at this point, Aphelios, okay, still open here. JackeyLove has adored this champion.
I was going to say, you definitely don't pick a mid laner first, but the Aphelios is a good pick. Again, both AD carries have looked great on it, showing why it is such a hot pick. And moving over to the other side, we do see Kalista ban, Varus ban, so Misfortune just the next expected pick. And now the question for JDG is, Ornn is open. Ooh. Zoom loves that champion. Do you want to go for that? Or maybe even picking up the set, something else he can play, but something that can be flexed into the support position
like
as
we
well.
saw in game one, right? It was the MF, it was the set in the early rotation on the red side. And Top Esports, they're the ones who have chosen blue. So for JDG, it's going to be impactful to see what comes next. The priority on a support here seems a bit uncharacteristic.
I'd say it's pretty strange picking, if you do end up locking that in early, I think taking the set, which is flexible. Even Kanavi's been playing set in solo queue in the jungle role, so having a lot of versatility.
As well.
Or just taking the Ornn, which, again, this is what you would expect out of JDG.
Yeah, okay, zoom back into comfort, even though the GP facilitates that role as well. But now for Top Esports, do you want to see Knight's champion pool early on before we get to the second ban phase?
I think you're fine still waiting for 4 or 5, right? Knight is a champion Ocean. This guy can play absolutely anything. So picking up support here would be good. The Braum is the expected answer because, again, you have Bullet Time, you have Call of the Forge God. Braum does such a good job at denying both of those things.
We know that Yumi's been the response to that, though.
That is true, and does pair pretty well with Misfortune in the laning phase. And this time around on the side of JDG, you have Engage, right? Last time we saw the Yumi come out, there was no Engage. Don't need to worry about it. Zoom's on the Ornn.
So now that we've got the Braum, what do you put on Karsa? He's favored the least in throughout this series. We've seen a Trundle as well.
I like this, though.
Olaf?
If you go with it, you have a very strong level 1. Karsa himself has looked good on this champion before, but Hysterics. I'm a big fan of just early rotation in your jungle, but whatever. They take the Ornn. You're undefeated on the Aatrox. 369 looked absolutely amazing on it, so why not?
Don't you remember that when we came into this series, it was about those big 3 champions. It was Yagao's LeBlanc, Loken's Kalista, and 369's Aatrox. And Aatrox coming here in Game 5 for 369, still undefeated as you mentioned. Let's move forward because Kanavi has gone for the early rotation jungle himself.
This is actually very different, right? We don't typically see JDG early rotation their jungle unless it is something like the Trundle. And even though Kanavi has played the Rek'Sai 6 times, this kind of early game champion that needs to gank to be relevant isn't something you associate with Kanavi.
No, you think about Kanavi going through the jungle and you see him, you know, once or twice, but that's about it. So with Kanavi, early proactivity and activity itself, we're going to see what the other solo lane is, what the support is to pair up with it too. Because we're starting to ban away mid laners here from JDG. Knight isn't going to get the Corki like you wanted.
Like, JDG are signaling that they want to pick the Azir, but it just seems too obvious. I feel like there needs to be some kind of shenanigans going on here.
Sometimes the easiest answer is the simplest one. Now, you're going to lose the Yumi at the same time. Now, Karsa not going to get the Gragas to accompany this composition, but that does mean the Olaf they looked at earlier is still open.
That's true. But what I want to see here is, where does JDG go if they want to just take their solo lane here? But I guess picking support does make a lot more sense when top have shown their support themselves. You can go for something like the Thresh if you want, which doesn't necessarily do anything into the Braum, but you do have the Lantern for safety for the Misfortune. But we get to see it Game 5, LvMao's Bard.
LvMao's Bard is iconic here with this support. If you don't watch the LPL, the best Bard in the league is 150% LvMao. Used to be Dwan back in the day, but no longer. It is all about LvMao, the roaming support.
And I love it because, again, you have a lot of priority in that Braum lane. You can bully him out easily. You can constantly leave with a tunnel. Moving over to the other side, I love this from Top Esports. We get to a Game 5, and you know what they say? We're going all in on late game team fighting.
We're going to put Karsa on a Sejuani. Does that mean the Sylas fits in here nicely?
Yeah, you do. He is a melee champion, so he is able to proc that passive. You already have a lot of AD damage coming out, obviously, in the Aatrox and the Aphelios, so I like this. Very scrappy comp, scales very well, and in Game 5s where the pressure does start getting to, it does get tense. You want things that can do well in the later stages of the game.
And Knight Sylas has been exceptional here this split as well. I will talk about that in a second. I need to know what JDG decide Yagao wants to try and win on in Game 5.
Yagao needs to show us something new because typically he does stick to this LeBlanc, Azir, Syndra type champions, and we do get something new coming out from him.
Is it a castle win? That's my question for you, Lyric. How does this set up in the draft that JDG have given us.
It's very interesting because, again, Kasadin with Rek'Sai. This is not a combo you'd think of. Rek'Sai wants to be ganking early on, wants to get in these lanes, and you have a tank in the top lane, you have something that needs to hyper scale in mid, you have a roaming support that wants to leave lane, so you have a bunch of moving parts that don't come together too well, but in the later stages, he will still be a menace.
I will say, for Yagao through the regular season, he hasn't played this.
No.
This is not a Yagao champion. We talk about the Azirs. We talk about things like the LeBlanc,
the
Zoe,
Zoes,
Syndra,
exactly.
Zoe, Lucian, that's right. It's a game 5, and Yagao says, let me just pull out this hidden Kasadin that I have under my belt.
And he's going to scale quite well, but Sylas still going to do very well in that lane.
That's true.
And putting Knight on something that has priority and proactivity in the laning phase, always a scary thing.
Plus, remember, he can steal the Kasadin ult as well. So the ability to do the same flanking maneuvers are there. But Lyric, we're heading into a game 5. I have to say, thank you to the gods of League of Legends, because JDG and Top Esports, not only were they not expected to be in this position in the finals, they weren't expected to go to all 5. It was the JDG predictions here that I saw that across the fan base of the LPL, a lot of favoritism towards JDG. Top Esports showed up earlier in the series, and only now have JDG started to strike back.
Well, it's also like you said that even people have been predicting Top Esports, it's always been 3-1, something along these lines. You didn't see a lot of people expecting this to go to the distance, and the fact that it has and it has delivered, and now in the final game, we see both teams changing it up, right? TS going towards this complete, like, scaling late game team fighting. They've drafted a Sejuani.
Yeah.
Like, this sort of style is completely different. JDG, again, the composition's a bit all over the place, but you have the scaling. You have early game pressure jungler coming in from Kanavi. You have some wombo combo as well. Gonna be interesting.
Interesting, a great word to go into this one. Game 5, folks. We're going to hear from the fans before we jump onto Summoner's Rift.
Zoom 加油，期待你继续你的100%胜率。
Ladies and gentlemen, the Silver Scrapes takes you onto the Rift. Here in the LPL, it has been a full year since the last best of 5 has gone the distance between IG and RNG. But here it's a pleasure to take you into the very last game of the season. The Top Esports JDG Grand Final ends here with one brand new champion picking up the Champions Cup.
I really like what TS are doing right now if they do want to look for a late invade. You have a Braum, insanely strong level 1. Knight as well on the Sylas, of course, at E, gonna do so much work. You have a lot of champions that don't do anything level 1 on the side of JDG with the Kasadin and the Rek'Sai.
That's very, very true. So the invade begins here. 369 joining up, but there is going to be a war that spots them out. There's 4 members. Here it comes.
So they're going to go in. I do expect JDG to just trade sides as well. They shouldn't commit to contesting TS for this invade. And now, again, you feel pretty safe in the bot lane if you are Braum and Aphelios. Not a lot of dive threat coming in early on.
True. So is the answer here for Kanavi to match and mirror the map swap, I guess, for junglers? Are we going to be seeing the vertical jungling as an absolute?
I like
Never
this a
mind.
lot. We've seen Sylas be picked up in the top lane against Ornn many, many times. And of course, Aatrox going to do wonders into the Kasadin matchup. You're an AD champion. His Q shield does nothing. You're so lane dominant. So TS actually having 2 hard winning lanes.
And Karsa between both.
On the side of JDG, though, Ornn does have trading power early in this matchup, like the first few levels. Won't be until, you know, first back levels 5 and 6 where Knight really becomes favored, but still, I'm a big fan of the swap coming out from TS, and you're going to have so much pressure in the mid lane.
Okay. Well, we'll be watching to see what JDG do about it at this point, because I think tracking jungles here with the lane swap is going to be really important, right? Loken and LvMao going in for a bit of invade themselves, while Karsa resets the map, going for his red buff, while Loken and LvMao looking for information.
Kanavi going for it, and Knight's in a bad position.
Yeah, he's going to have to flash here. The tunnel system used to get into position here. Abscond into the abduct, but teleport coming through. Knight wants to waste time, but through the mid lane, Yagao not there in time, or maybe is. The silence stops the TP, and Knight now left in a 1 versus 2. Good night, dear Knight. Because it's first blood. Over to Kanavi while we look towards bottom side. Karsa wants to make a response. LvMao blocked from going through the magical journey. Just in time, yes it is. And JDG win out.
That was so massive coming up from JDG on both sides of the map. Actually, all three lanes, the Yagao with the silence, Kanavi with the expected gank towards top. You know, Kanavi loves to give Zoom a little bit of attention in the early game, and then LvMao doing just enough to survive. First blood from JDG.
And who cares if you get favorable lanes when you get first blood towards the jungler and help out your top lane Ornn. So for JDG, a brilliant start for the game 1, or rather game 5 here. Grand final.
Ooh, and TES setting up this dive. Again, Bard is a very squishy champion. This is very easy to execute.
Karsa has Aftershock, remember. Sejuani can do this.
Not feeling comfortable. Maybe they don't know exactly where Kanavi is.
Next time then. Karsa's going to go back towards top side. He's still got blue to clear. As junglers kind of reiterate their messy pathing that we saw before. Looks like Kanavi will be heading towards the bottom side.
Kanavi heading bot, that is where his camps are starting to respawn, as we just saw with Braum. And right now, TS's bot lane is still pushed out if you do want to look for that. And of course, not only your tunnels, but you have increased gank options with that magical journey coming out from LvMao. So a lot of options there. And typically, that is the lane I'd say you want to start in, even if you want to look mid, just roaming with LvMao to put some pressure on the 369.
Close here for the Infernal Chains. If you're looking at 369 here for pressure, at the moment he does have it individually. For Yagao, he's doing pretty well in this lane. After cancelling the TP, that one's going to be down for quite a while. Yagao uses his to get back to lane, and is keeping up in CS so far.
And this is going to be great for Zoom. Pushes in the wave, going to bounce back. Karsa not going to be able to find an easy gank window.
Yep.
Dragon's going to be spawning soon, and that's where my eyes are going to turn, because Karsa's going to be the one having pressure in the mid lane from 369, but in bot lane, JDG are going to be the ones having it with LvMao and Loken.
Kanavi's the one to invade first of all. Karsa over the wall with an Arctic Assault. Kanavi is just going to be backing away. Now, bottom side, with that push coming through, we're not looking there, we're looking top again. Because Knight is behind 10 CS and Zoom is just punching him.
Especially with Knight dying earlier on. We've already stated that Ornn does pretty well in these early trades.
Oh, not if he turns it around. Knight doesn't have much mana though. For Zoom running away. Chain Lash there, spins once, looking for twice, but Knight so down! And Zoom gets the solo kill in game 5.
Zoom doing so well. I'm going to confidently say it. Best top laner in the world. JDG game 5 with the early game lead. I don't want to be a bit ominous, but the one game JDG did have the early game lead wasn't a victory.
And Zoom in a game 5 situation, let's not forget again, 2019 spring. Have a bit of flashback here, even though it is the Ornn. But he gets the solo kill in lane. He's 20 CS up, and the wave crashing is ginormous.
Yeah, Knight going to miss out on some CS here, but Zoom just doing a great job in this trade. Things looked really good for Knight, hits the E, but now you're walking into more than a full wave of minions and just overstepping a little bit, taking those 2 turret shots, and things looking great for Zoom, living that high society life that we know for.
Yeah, fine dining experience in the top lane. Kanavi now waiting because Knight is 0-2. Knight has been the core element for top esports throughout it all. And he's now getting punished, bullied around here in this top lane.
Ooh, the thing I like, though, is we see Karsa waiting in the wings. Actually, he's taking his gromp, but still is here just in case Kanavi looks for something.
I don't know if Kanavi spotted him out with the Tremor Senses. That's going to be key. As Knight does hit level 6, means he has called the forward goal, but Zoom has his own as well. Scott Duck used a little bit early. He gets knocked on up. Double knock up here. Knight steals the Rek'Sai ulti, but Kanavi waiting and dead again. 0-3. JDG are winning this top side.
Kanavi showing so many new layers. Picking up Rek'Sai, a champion that needs to gank early on. Late game, you become useless because you can only go in. You're squishy, there's no getting out, you're committed, you need an advantage, and he's making damn sure he finds that advantage here.
Zoom picked up 2 bits of turret plating lyric. This Ornn is huge, and Kanavi come back to the point. He's 2-0. This Warrior's Rek'Sai is going to be big as well.
Ignore the Rek'Sai for a second, Hysterics, and remember, coming into this game, we said Knight needs to be the big carry for this team. Knight's 0-3-0. Knight's not doing anything this game.
And now, I'm not going to ignore the Rek'Sai because he's mid. World End is going to be used here. Karsa coming in, nice glacial presence, predicts Yagao. but he will get away. Now for JDG, can they? Kanavi gets healed, but underneath the turret, Top Esports can't go too far forward. A nice play from Top Esports, but they don't get anything bar a couple of flashes.
Still great overall coming out ahead. 369 did blow flash himself, but getting 2 flashes from JDG. LvMao as well having to blow his heal, and now you're the ones to pick up the Herald. And Knight, luckily not having to follow up, just picking up CS in the top lane, trying to get back in the game.
Because at this point for Top Esports, you just need something. The way this early game's gone, you need something, and the Herald could be enough to turn the momentum, turn the play, at least somewhat in their favor.
Especially because for late game, Top Esports have a very good coherent comp, just sticks together very well. You have a lot of peeling options with Karsa and Chocho. For JDG, Yagao cannot just jump in by himself.
Yep.
He will still get popped despite being on the Kasadin. You really need LvMao to stay up with a good Tempered Fate or Zoom with a great Call of the Forge God, because Kanavi's going to fall off massively, won't even be a champion, and of course Aphelios will outskill the Misfortune.
Especially when we look at what could stop Yagao, and Call of the Forge God to be stolen away could be exactly that. More on that later, because Rift Herald has dropped down in the mid lane. JackeyLove, a bit too much on the turret shot there, but he's near mid at the right time. That means gold distributed over to this Aphelios AD carry.
Sadly, Bard is not level 6 yet. Cannot save that play, but things feeling good for TES. You pick up a lot of plate gold. Gold is about even, you're 1K behind, but relative to how these comps scale,
Okay.
I'd say that's even for TES.
Okay, wow, that's surprising because, again, early game, as a viewer, I would look at this and say, holy moly, a Top Esports out before this game even gets towards 10 minutes, right?
One thing that's for sure is Knight is shut out of this game so far, right?
Okay.
He's 0-3-0. He will not be able to kill Zoom. Oh god, let's say for the next 35 minutes, we see the item Zoom is picked up, and Knight is a non-factor. So what we want to see from JDG is how they bring this Ornn pressure around the map, or if they just want to keep committing to diving Knight, still take that first turret and then start moving Zoom around the map, which is something Zoom is amazing at.
Especially if Kanavi, at least if we go back to that lane, Kanavi on top of Knight right now, who has no armor, will just get shredded by the Warriors' Rek'Sai. So the potential's still definitely there. Kanavi has been hovering towards the top side, clearing his camps for a while now. While we look towards the other jungler in Karsa, who is actually 20 CS up, but that's because he's been farming, shadowing, trying to get there and help out Knight in a couple of these instances.
It's actually really interesting how we have our lane set up as a 1-3-1 right now, without a turret even going down yet.
Very true. And it was after the Rift Herald play as well, like it was after the fact.
And right, it's like they didn't stay here, like they chose to recommit to these lanes. 369's still gonna have a great time up against that Kasadin at this point. Of course, there are no neutrals up, but JDG feeling fine in this position, knowing, hey, as long as we can keep the wave pushed into mid, well, they can't do anything to play around 369 in the side lane.
Okay, so favorable in a way for JDG, because there has been a lot of chaos within lanes. The earlier lane swap and now the lane positioning is mentioned with someone like Yagao. 369, by the way, pulling up a bit of turret plating in the meantime, which is actually going to be turned into 2 to this Aatrox mid.
I really want to see if JDG can come up with any like smart, creative plays with the magical journey, because again, you bring LvMao, you bring Kanavi bot.
Like that. Here he is.
That's a bot, but that wasn't that creative. He just kind of went in, auto-attacked a minion, but on the side of JDG, you should already consider this turret down. Because the minute TSA, well, whatever, we don't care about sides for like 2 seconds, they could bring 4 or 5 members mid and they'll knock that down easily. So for JDG, that mid lane turret is really just a luxury at this point.
At the very least, might be able to stop something in the bottom lane. There was a setup there from Karsa around 369, who is still about 12-15. He'll get to that point. Let's say 12 for now. CS ahead of Yagao. This Ornn is angry and taking it out on the turret top side against no contention right now. I'm afraid of what Zoom's going to do in these fights.
And we have Dragon coming up in a minute 30 seconds, so probably not going to be able to get this turret down in time, but even if you do end up walking away and walking towards that Dragon, you know, so what? As long as your team secures that objective, it's fine. What I want to see is, does TS contest, or do they just say, hey, whatever, it's only second Dragon, we'd rather just keep getting gold on the Knight and get him to a point where, again, he is actually part of this game, get a few more items on the Aphelios, really wants to hit that 3-item power spike. Even Sejuani, right? You want to get her a bit tankier and more durable before you really start hard contesting these 5v5s.
Because if we look at this next Dragon, the potential now for Sol is either Cloud or what do we got on the board? Oh, we got Ocean. Oh god, not Ocean. So at this point, if Top Esports let those 2 dragons go, potential to stack up the 4 Clouds is there, the 4 Oceans, as we've mentioned in previous games. More importantly, JDG are 2 dragons closer towards getting a soul that could really close out this series and give them their first ever championship.
The great thing for TS going into this next dragon, and you know, for the championship, is the fact that they do keep having Karsa hover towards mid, so they're just naturally picking up this mid pressure. And JDG's mid turret, we've already spoken about, pretty much already down. So going to be great that TS can either just keep vision first, try to find a pick, or elongate the time that JDG can take this objective.
The vision you mentioned was right here in front of them. Yagao able to clear it away before backing away himself. Now 369 has been the quiet achiever here in the meanwhile. This Aatrox quite large and in charge himself. There's the Cosmic Fate coming through. Or sorry, the Tempered Fate. JackeyLove escapes that one with the TP coming through from Knight. But remember, Knight pretty irrelevant even with the Proto Bell. Top Esports get river control. JDG back away, but now re-engage.
And now TS need to commit to doing something. Knight wasted his TP, Zoom didn't. JDG can still just choose to posture, walk away, and then come back with Zoom's TP in hand.
You saw JackeyLove actually cleared out the mid wave. So gets the push there. They're going to be spotted out through mid. Kanavi, yeah, Tremor Sense comes through. So that'll just be Dragon here for Top Esports. The spawn, question mark. What is it going to be? Oh, okay. An Ocean Soul for Game 5.
Ornn with Ocean Soul once again, but I'd say pretty surprising that JDG choose to just give that over for free instead of opting to go towards the top side, pick up this turret. And you would expect them to get vision for this Herald first, but JDG not the team we know for taking Herald.
No, definitely not. First turret picked up, by the way, while 369 now matches with his original lane opponent. The first turret of the game at 15 minutes is very delayed for the way this game felt.
Very delayed, but moving on from turrets to other objectives, I really want to see JDG force this dragon. 369 still in the bot lane. You have TP advantage on Zoom, but we see them taking it too slow, giving TS enough time for 369 to rotate over if he wants, but actually just going to take Krugs. I'm wrong.
Okay. So you want to see them force Herald?
Exactly.
Okay.
TP advantage, that's the key words here.
Clear my throat, Karsa now positioning towards the mid lane. Vision pretty much obtained here by JDG. They're all up towards the river. Look how Zoom with the TP in the back pocket is always important to note as well. Begins. And this time, JDG do want it.
TS can't contest this. We see that Knight just made his way towards the red buff. Looks like he was just kind of shadowing over towards bot side. 369, of course, doesn't have the TP, so is going to be a pretty easy objective take for JDG.
Okay, but what do they do with it? Because there are quite a lot of turrets on the map. We got mid, we got bot. And for JDG, they're on the outskirts of a bit of a gold lead with 300 in their back pocket. But for Kanavi, he's got a Kasadin that would, I'm sure, love a bit of this gold.
True, but for JDG, I'd say you could even just wait and use it towards the bottom half of the map, open up the side lanes more, because, again, we will get to a point where no one will be able to deal with Yagao in sides, and with TS controlling mid so well, it's going to be really hard for JDG to find an opportunity to drop that mid.
Maybe this one presents itself. 369 over the wall. Zoom very, very tanky. Knight comes in for the engage. It's just the blue buff for now. To pull in Zoom, no, Bellows Breath denies that one away. For Top Esports, they didn't force anything there. They just took the blue and went.
Still getting an objective in a sense, right? Taking enemy blue buff is a very good pickup for TES.
Yep. And
now just defaulting back towards controlling mid-wave. No neutral objectives up for TES to take. Now it's all about, does JDG look to open up the sides with that Rift Herald?
Kanavi was posturing towards the bottom lane. Zoom is here with the shove as well. In fact, the dive, a potential world ender, is available, of course. Here comes the searing charge into the ultimate. As 369 survives that, now for LvMao coming in underneath turret to block the damage. Searing charge does find its mark this time, and Zoom finds a kill. A good dive here for JDG with no response from Top Esports.
Was a bit confusing to where we saw LvMao and Kanavi heading towards the mid lane first. You wonder why they didn't just come straight away. But still, JDG able to pick up the kill is a massive win. Like you just said, TS, there's no objective they could respond with on the map. The Knight is probably just very happy that he's going to get some minion waves uncontested.
Yeah, I think Knight would be super happy about that one. But the team has left Zoom. Top Esports are coming down here, and Lyric, Zoom may be tanky, but against these three people, especially JackeyLove, Where's he gonna go?
He's dead.
He's definitely dead.
He's
so.
going to the gray,
no.
gray screen hysterics.
The gray screen.
We see that Loken is topside.
Netted a shutdown onto an Aphelios. JackeyLove set up. Now, Riptail put down the mid lane. Out of top Esports in front of this, because this one just feels like it's gone as well.
Yeah, I would assume the Herald just finishes it
Maybe
off. Nope, okay, well,
unlucky.
Like 76 HP, that's what I'm
Wow,
sticking with.
75, not bad.
Oh, wow.
No, sir. You are wasted as a caster.
I'm just saying, World Championship attendee playing coach.
Oh, okay, all right. So name drop that in front of everyone. That's absolutely fine, sir. Make me feel like dirt, but that's cool. Game 5 has come to this point where, yes, we're not as bloody as especially our Game 4, but we are building up towards that conclusion. It's so fitting for this series.
We've had a lot of action, though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, we continuously see them posturing in front of each other, and sure, kills aren't picked up in the end, but we definitely see, you know, some summoner spells and champion abilities traded back and forth.
Especially towards, you know, Zoom in the bottom lane we saw before. It was a kill and netted itself, but we also see the setup that comes through these teams, and more importantly, the setup for the Dragon. And specific blood coming your way, because top Esports, they do have control over this. Yagao's TP is up on the top side, but JDG have just reset and are on their way.
Once again, no one has the ability to kill Zoom on the side of TS at this point if it is a straight up 5v5, but once again, JDG are late to the objective.
Yeah.
And ooh, maybe not.
Well, TP is going to come through. That's Yagao. He has a speed boost as well with level 2 Realm Warp into the pit, into the back. Yagao jumps on in. It is secured by top Esports, but that's a 4-man ultimate. The Tempered Fate nets Kanavi over the wall with a 3-man call, the Forge God. The reverse used from Knight, and he finds it onto the backline, onto 3. JackeyLove now enabled with Gravitum. Gets a lockdown, but Zoom is so tanky. Yagao wants to find the re-engage into the backline. He's onto Chocho, but exhausted down. JackeyLove gets him off his support, and top Esports find the first one of the fight. 5 versus 4. Zoom is dead. That's the tank. They need to leave.
Top Esports with the old reliable 3 melee champions, actually 4 melee champions, in a late game scaling Aphelios coming out ahead in these front-to-back team fights. And are they actually bold enough to do this?
I mean, they know Kanavi is so low, he either had to back or he's got to check this one. They begin the Baron. It's all or nothing.
I've had a lot of bad memories of Barons in this series so far. Kanavi does have Smite up.
For championship point, Kanavi needs to steal this now because it's at 4K. Going fast. Top Esports in the pit. The poke from Loken in position. He's outside. Runs on in. Loken's cleaning them up while Yagao is set up as well. TP in front. Baron has a reset. Top Esports with a flash from 369. Kanavi finally joins the fight. This Aatrox is big though. Can JDG clean him up? Knight to go golden. Kanavi low. And Yagao jumps on as well. But this Aatrox who's sat in the side lane, 369 wants to take them all on. Zoom rejoins after coming in with a TP, and both teams disengage. But you can see the angle that they're playing towards.
Hysterics, what is going on? Baron counters the LPL teams.
Apparently.
Like, it's just a complete mess around this objective. TS feeling bold enough to start, and we saw how that panned out. JDG keeping it competitive.
We started with Zoom versus 369, and we could end with that. After we saw a bit of an explosion here.
Once again, great individual performances coming out. Loken and Yagao going in, creating a bit of chaos. And here we see LvMao as well playing well. Knight not really having much damage, but still able to pick up Loken. This is where everything gets a bit messy. Yagao's still in there, Kanavi's still in there. Knight having that Zhonya's. They aren't able to find the kill, and Yagao just being all over the place, able to get out. And once again, no one is killing this Ornn. He is so tanky. Just look at his items. No one can touch this man.
No one can touch him, but 369 is a 2-item Aatrox that doesn't quite die either. So at this point in the game, we're at a point where gold is pretty much even, but a couple of K, excuse me, for JDG. We got an Ocean Dragon coming up. Number 3 for top Esports, number 2 for JDG. And the Baron still sits there after a very ambitious attempt from top Esports to try and take it away. There's the Tempered Fate once again, blocked on up. The bullet time comes through, JackeyLove comes out of stasis. Now for the re-engage, teleport coming through. They want this championship point, and onto Zoom, can they find it? The Bella's Breath is there, but onto Yagao. Now the attention turns once again. Slowed on down, stunned on up. Onto Yagao, the ultimate misses from Karsa. Yagao thinking about the re-engage once again. Top Esports group is 5 mid. Push JDG back.
Tempered Fate looks so good coming out from LvMao, but that Braum pick doing so much work blocking the call of the Forge God, and then JDG just having to get out of there, having no real follow-up engage. Still, TS not able to find any picks on the back end, but trying to bait JDG into thinking.
But they found LvMao, they found LvMao with the Graviton ulti. JackeyLove sends it out, and Knight finishes the kill.
World champion showing up clutch in Game 5. Sadly, no Dragon up. They don't feel confident to go towards the Baron, but can they force more under this turret?
It'll be about Zoom, this tanky Ornn to push them away. He jumps on in, Yagao off the side as well. 3-man knockup while JackeyLove gets low. At half health, they turn onto Yagao though. Golden is he, or the re-engage comes through 369 with the World Ender again. They find the knockup, and JDG are sent packing. 3 versus 5, low health bars for top esports, but they do the job yet again.
And still, 2 picks is so massive for the side of top esports. You're going to be able to recall, buy more items, get vision set up first for this Dragon, and then we're going to be on soul points.
And suddenly, I have to say, Knight, who was 0-3, suddenly has 3 kills and a bounty. He's now back in this game, and you can see how relevant top esports are here for the next fight. That's the second time in a row that they look pretty dangerous within this 5 vs 5 realm.
After that first 5 minutes, there's no way you could have told me that Knight would be sitting here with a bounty almost at his 3rd item. You're the team with the Aphelios. You have constant threat on the Baron, but let's see how this started. LvMao going for the recall, and like you said, it's all about JackeyLove here with that ultimate locking him down. Knight and the rest of TS all following up, and it looked great.
Brain versus Braum. And LvMao didn't have the brain in that situation, but boy did top esports bring their brawn. We're right in front of the Dragon, the 3rd Ocean, rather 2nd. 3rd Dragon, at least the top esports on the menu.
Front to back teamfights favor the side of top esports.
And they know it, they've found Yagao. He doesn't have Zhonya's from the last play, has to flash away as well. Stolen ulti from Knight as a constant. Fate jumps onto 4, the bullet time set up, 2-man knockup here, onto JackeyLove, onto 369. Can they find it? Because JDG may have found the miracle with LvMao's ulti, and that's exactly that. All of a sudden, back in the driver's seat.
JDG do it, they combo the ultimate so perfectly. Kanavi finds a way onto JackeyLove. Yagao getting in there as well, and you talked about LvMao. They're able to pick up a Baron.
Right into the middle, JDG now simmer into the Baron pit. This is theirs. No one up to contest, and the swing goes back. The Colonel unsure what the heck is going on for a good reason. The Game 5 held onto by JDG and might even be the winning fight.
Hysterics for JDG, they need to execute their comp so perfectly. You need a great Tempered Fate shutting members out. You need exactly, you need Yagao and Kanavi to get right on top of JackeyLove. These are such small windows, but they do it so perfectly. TS are the ones to start this fight. They know, they feel confident saying, hey, we win the front-to-back team fight. We see Karsa jumping and finding the engage onto Yagao, but he's able to get away. Look at Kanavi, but look at LvMao with that Bard ultimate. So massive, gives time for Yagao to get onto JackeyLove. Kanavi's there as well, and without that damage dealer from TES, JDG just clean up.
And they pick up the Baron after the play. Now sitting in front of the Ocean Dragon, top esports still want to contest. 5 versus 5 yet again. Knight steals the call. The Forge God away. Zoom doesn't have his own. Advantage is there as Yagao's forced out of the back of the pit.
But Yagao's in a great position. He's trying to put flank pressure onto JackeyLove so he can't kill the front line of JDG.
Chocho wants to check this one away. A ward dropped on down in Yagao's spot, but the Ocean Dragon gone before it comes through. Karsa can't get the steal. The engage comes through, and for JDG, this might be okay. Knight finds a 2-man knock-up here. The Tempered Fate again locks down Karsa and JackeyLove. They're ready to jump in. JDG erupt on top of esports. This is Karsa getting knocked up as well. And once again, LvMao says, this is my championship. It's all mine.
Game 5 Bard showing in clutch. LvMao finding the perfect Tempered Fates. And JDG don't care if it's a hard to execute comp. They get it done.
They got Baron. They've got long death timers on the side of top esports now. At this point, can the game end? I don't think so. But JDG with yet another big fight and a massive gold lead, they want to do it.
Yeah, the pings are coming out. They want to push forward. Again, death timers are up in 10 seconds. I don't think they have the damage.
From the brink of despair, this is history being made. JDG have fought against all odds to rise to this throne. They leave a trail of their enemies behind them. They will now pick up the crown as the last defense comes through. All they have to do is hit the Nexus, and they've done it. The new king to the LPL. All hail JDG, your 2020 spring champions!
I don't even have words for this moment. That was absolutely insane coming out from JDG. Oh.
Out of nothing, JDG erupt and LvMao is the best damn support in the LPL. LvMao set that up, and the beauty of his bar carries them over the finish line.
And Loken taking down his former team. I'm so happy for them. Big congratulations over to JD Gaming.
You can see LvMao, he's very tearful. Congratulations go out to JD Gaming.
After 5 games, the final winner is JD Gaming. Congratulations to them again. Regrets in 2019. Finally, it's returned into the victory, the sweetness of victory in 2020. JDG proves how strong they are through today's battle fights. Here's the golden ring in the venue. Although there's no audience in the venue cheering for them, but I believe there are so many of you are sitting in front of the monitors. Cheer for them.